Lucario hasn't received justice yet, and now DNA comes up with SYGNA Korrina, who is going to attack her own Lucario in the sync move preview whenever you check it out. The poor thing! The poor thing! Anyway guys, in this video, we're going to discuss about SYGNA Korrina and Marshadow and see if she is worth your gems or not. And with that said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't, as it really helps with the channel. And comment! Let me know if you are interested, or do you want justice for Lucario as well, like me. Let's do this! Yo, yo, yo! This is Sol, also known as SPL Gamma, also known as Spatial Gamma, also known as Grunt, the artist Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, we have finally arrived at the last sync pair coming out this July, or rather in the July Datamine, which is SYGNA Korrina and Marshadow. And if you're wondering when she comes out on July 16. That's another Saturday, which sucks because I really dislike Saturday release dates because I have to go home from my very busy day. I have to rush home and scout, but she's the last one. She ends on August 5, just like DOJO GLORIA. And expect, guys, expect another sync pair to come out on the last week of July. So there's definitely gonna be more than 4 sync pairs. But she is a tech sync pair and she's a Pokefair scout. And by Pokefair, there's a 10% chance of grabbing a random 5-star in the process, with a 2% chance of scouting for the featured units. And there is a 3 to 12 month period before they rerun. So most random between 3 months to 12 months, somewhere there. Meanwhile, Summer N and Summer HILDA have 11 to 12 month rerun pause because they're seasonals and they normally just come out once a year. N is a striker, HILDA is a support. Meanwhile, tech for both these two, DOJO GLORIA and SYGNA Korrina. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the types of scouts that you have. And in terms of her kit, you know, if you are curious on knowing what these guys are capable of, I have already discussed each one in the July sync pairs who to scout for video, where I do a bird's eye view scouting, you know, analysis for each one. If you're interested in knowing more about each one and a little bit in depth with the numbers and everything, I have scout or skip videos for each one of them, with SYGNA Korrina this video as the last of the series. So do check them out if you're curious. But in the meantime, we are going to discuss her and just her. She comes out on July 16, and if you see this background or Mindscape image, let's give it all we've got. Congratulations, you have successfully scouted for SYGNA Korrina. She is a ghost tech sync pair with Spectral Thief and Shadow Punch as her attacking moves. Spectral Thief never, or rather raises, or rather, how do I say this? It is like Snatch, which basically steals the opponent's stats and gives it to yourself, and then raises your stats by the same amount. The difference is this will damage the opponent as well. It's a pretty strong attack, 100 something base power, and it steals the opponent's stats. Nice. The other one, Shadow Punch, does not miss, never misses, so you can use this to hit evasive opponents, or use Spectral Thief and steal the opponent's evasiveness and give it to yourself. The thing with Spectral Thief is that you can only use this 3 times. And there are ways to bring back Spectral Thief, which we will discuss later. She has Dire Hit All Plus, which reminds me of SYGNA Lyra, who is a tech sync pair that has Dire Hit All Plus again. So this is something like a supportive tech sync pair. You can help everyone with their hit all plus, give everyone critical hit rate increase. And then you got greater heights, which you can only use once, which raises your attack stat +4, as well as increases your speed and evasiveness +3. And then, as you might see over here, her speed stat is 390. It's not bad at all. And then your attack stat is 448. Your HP is pretty on the low side, but then you are quite defensive as a tech sync pair with both defenses at 202. Special attack is ignored because she is a physical attacker. And that's that. And then her sync move is Shadow Shrouded Spectral Thief, which if the opponent does not have any raise stats, you get to hit more damage. By the way, guys, for those who are new to the game, sync buff is not called a raise stat. So, raise stats, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, evasiveness, accuracy, critical hit rate. Did I miss anything? But those are raise stats. You can use Spectral Thief to steal all those stats. I think you can also steal the opponent's critical hit rate. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. And then with her passive skills, you got a copy of Anniversary's Steven, Good Form. The higher your stats are, the stronger your moves are. Better Prepared 9, when the opponent does not have any raise stats, you get to hit the opponent with around 90% or almost double the damage. And then Fortuitous 9, every single time you use Spectral Thief or Shadow Punch, you get to raise one random stat of your own. Either attack, special attack, defense, speed, special attack, special defense, accuracy, or evasiveness, excluding critical hit rate. And then since she can raise her own critical hit rate, better give her Critical Strike 2 as a lucky skill. I think it's the best one for her as well. And Superpowered 3 just for the extra 10% damage if you're battling an opponent that's weak to ghost type attacks. Now for her sync grid, at 1 out of 5 you get a Dire Hit All MP Refresh 2, which is technically worthless unless you are using this in Champion Stadium with half ally MP, or at Battle Villa with, you know, the length of the battles, you just bring back the MP because it just carries over. Fierce Entry 1, at the start of the battle, you give yourself a +1 attack. So if you use her trainer move, you got +5 attack instead of +4. 2 out of 5, you get another attack move multiplier, Better Prepared 3, which adds up to the Better Prepared 9. If the opponent does not have any raise stats, you get to deal around 30% stronger damage. Greater Heights MP Refresh 2 gives you a chance to increase your accuracy, or rather your attack stat to maximum, your speed stat to maximum, and your evasiveness to maximum. Which I like. I like evasiveness and speed maximum. Shadow Punch, super duper effective 3 powers up your Shadow Punch by around 30% if the opponent is weak to Ghost. Sync Reload 9, whenever you use a sync move, you get to restore 1 MP. I think Summer Hilda has single sync reload 9. This is basically a downgraded version of sync reload 9 where you only reload your MP on the first sync move. This one reloads your MP every single time you use a sync move. So this is a little bit better. And then at 3 out of 5, you get 2 Fortuitous 9 tiles. As you might know, Good Form, and as you might know later, Rising Tide. The higher your stats are, the stronger your damage is. So if you want to raise your stats very quickly, then go for all the Fortuitous 9 tiles and raise your stats very quickly. Furious Brawn, the higher your attack stat is, the stronger your attacks are. Greater Height Slippery 2, the higher your, raises your evasiveness +2 when you do Greater Heights. So instead of +3, you get +5. But personally, instead of getting Greater Heights Slippery 2, I'd rather get Greater Heights MP Refresh 2 because that raises your speed stat as well to maximum, as well as evasiveness to maximum, and not just +5. Also, you get to raise your attack stat to maximum as well. Rising Tide, the higher your stats are, the stronger your sync move is. Shadow Punch hit reload 4, personally, this is much better for me than Sync reload 9 because most of the time you will use Shadow Punch on the enemy. And every single time you use Shadow Punch, you have a 50% chance of bringing back 1 MP for Spectral Thief, which you use to steal the opponent's stats and give yourself those stat buffs. So I'd rather get Shadow Punch hit reload 4 than Sync reload 9, but then you have to have 3 out of 5 in order to do that, 3 copies. And then Shadow Punch move gauge refresh 9, every single time you use Shadow Punch, you get to refresh, you get to charge up 1 move gauge. So technically, Shadow Punch becomes a 1 move gauge instead of 2 move gauges. Quick Tempo, at the start of the battle, you get to give yourself a move gauge acceleration effect, but I don't think this is very necessary because her speed stat is pretty high unless you're using a Sync pair that really eats up the move gauge, and then 2 Sync Nuke Tiles for Shadow Shrouded Spectral Thief. Now, that's her Sync grid, and as you might know, it's impossible to get everything. So, let's head over to STDK12's tool and see what we can get. At 1 copy, you can get everything. No problem, grab everything you want. 2 copies, well, I am going for the multipliers at 2 copies. And that means I'll get Shadow Punch, super duper effective 3 at the bottom left. And at the top left, we got Better Prepared 3. So that if the opponent does not have any raised stats, you get to deal stronger damage. Again, this ties up with Better Prepared 9, which is already her passive skill. We also got Trainer Move MP Refresh 2 Greater Heights, so that we can maximize our attack stat, and we can maximize our speed and evasiveness stat. And at the top right part of the screen, we got Sync Reload 9, which every single time we use a Sync move, we get to refresh 1 Spectral Thief, which if the opponent decides to raise its stats even more, we can steal it again. Sus. So that's my 2 out of 5 grid. 3 out of 5, I got a couple of options. First option is an attack build. Full attack. We got Furious Brawn. The higher my stats are, the stronger the damage. Better Prepared 3. No raise stats for the opponent. Better damage. I got Shadow Punch. Hit reload 4. Every single time I use Shadow Punch, I have a 50% chance of stealing, or rather of recovering 1 MP for Spectral Thief. And then I got a Shadow Punch super duper effective 3 at the bottom left as well. And that, I also got 1 Sync Nuke Tile in the center. That is my attack build. And for the Sync Nuke build, I got the Rising Tide over there to the top left of the screen. That's actually her only multiplier that's in her grid. The other multiplier is built into her Sync move, which is the opponent, if it does not have any raise stats, get to deal stronger damage. Rising Tide, one of the better multipliers out there. At the bottom, we got Shadow Punch, hit reload 4. I think this is vital. Just in case the opponent decides to raise its stats, we can steal it. We got 2 Sync Nuke Tiles. I got a Shadow Punch move gauge refresh 9. And basically, that's that. What else do I have to say? Sync grids, again, as usual, are situational. There are no right or wrong sync grids. And just explore, just play with the sync grid on your own. And by the way, for those who have been, playing this game, new players to this game, do not forget to play sync or drill every single day. You also need to do this, by the way, to get the mission rewards for your daily missions. So don't forget to do this every day because you want to unlock everyone's sync grids, because sync grids actually make your sync pairs much more powerful than no sync grid at all. So those are my grid options for SYGNA with KORRINA and Marshadow. And now let's move back and compare her with the others. And again, she's the last one out of the bunch. You have until August 5 to decide whether to scout for her or not. If you are unsure, the Datamine, the August Datamine, will be coming probably 27, 28 of July, 29. It could be somewhere along those dates. Definitely not 25 or 26. And one thing to take note of is that you will not know the anniversary sync pairs in the August datamine. The anniversary sync pairs are in the September datamine, but then you will have an idea if Ash is gonna be scoutable or if she is gonna be a free sync pair. I'm thinking that he's a free sync pair, but if DNA wants to earn some money, then they're gonna make Ash scoutable. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a free sync pair with no 6-star EX. I'm guessing. And then, as you might know, before the anniversary, we will have bait units, and we will also have the next villain arc units. So that will give you a rough idea on what to expect, and if you want to use your gems to scout for SYGNA Suit Korrina or not. But if you actually read the title of my video, she can potentially be stronger than our strongest ghost type right now, which is Renegade Cynthia. And before we go there, don't forget again to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if you really believe, or if you're in disbelief that she could be stronger than Renegade Cynthia. But here are the stats as usual for all 4 of them, with SYGNA Suit Korrina having the highest speed and nothing exactly else happening. She has a very high attack stat, but lower than DOJO GLORIA, but still very high. If you decide to 6-star EX her, that's 488 attack. And defense is pretty high at 242. Those are support sync pair levels. And remember that she can raise her evasiveness stat to +3 immediately. The chances of hitting her are pretty low. And she's defensive, she's a very strong attacker, she's fast. Very, very good sync pair, guys. For the multipliers, as you can see over here, she has the highest attack move multipliers, with Better Prepared 3, Better Prepared 9, Furious Brawn, Good Form, Shadow Punch, Super Duper Effective 3. And then for the Nuke, Sync Nuke tiles, you got a built-in, if the opponent has no raise stats, stronger damage, and then Rising Tide, which I am covering, that if your stats are higher, the stronger your Sync Nuke damage is. For the others, I have already discussed them in my other videos, so check them out. Meanwhile, we are now gonna compare her with the other, other sync pairs that I think are nice to compare her with. What? Hey, check this out, guys. SYGNA Suit Korrina has the highest HP, highest attack, highest defense, highest special defense, and highest speed out of everyone, including Renegade Cynthia over there, who has the highest special attack. But we're disregarding special attack because SYGNA Suit Korrina does not use any special attacks. What? This is a first, guys. SYGNA Suit Korrina is proving to be stronger than Renegade Cynthia, just according to stats alone. Meanwhile, the others, as you can see over there, you can check that out for yourselves. But stats aren't everything, right? And now we get to compare their multipliers, which I'm gonna hide myself right now so you can have a better look. SYGNA Suit Korrina, I have already discussed them. Alistair has a lot to do with making the opponent, restrained. And you can restrain the opponent by using his max move. Also poisoning the opponent, okay. Falazarola, lots to do with confusing the opponent. You can confuse the opponent by making a critical hit or landing the opponent with a critical hit. Falmorty, a lot to do with burning the opponent. And Renegade Cynthia, her multipliers rely on raising your own special attack, Ghost Zone, and lowering the opponent's special defense for Smarty Pants. Also, you can give yourself a super duper or super effective up next with Renegade Cynthia if you use her Shadow Force. And you can do this with her sync move if you decide to time Shadow Force just in time that the opponent uses its sync move to cancel your Shadow Force. Also, Renegade Cynthia is a Master Sync pair, and that means she gets the Sinnoh Flag Bearer Master passive. But then, Master passives only apply with attack moves and not the sync moves. So, those are the multipliers. SYGNA Suit Korrina again relies on increasing your stats and lowering the opponent's stats to 0 or negative. And in terms of ease to use, ease of multipliers, I guess the easiest one is probably Fall Azarola because it's not that difficult to confuse the opponent. Power Flux, the fuller your move gauge is, yeah, Fall Azarola pretty easy to trigger. Alistair, you have to poison the opponent first as well as use your max move, so a little bit harder to do. SYGNA Suit Korrina use Spectral Thief to lower the opponent's stats, and then once you do that, your stats technically are raised and you get to become much stronger. Renegade Cynthia, well, pretty easy to trigger attack move multipliers. In terms of Smarty Pants, it's a little bit more difficult, but then every single time you attack an opponent, you get to lower their defenses, plus Ghost Zone. And yeah, those are the multipliers. But then, how do these convert into damage? Now, these are, again, our computations, our formulas, rely on everyone having super effective up next, rely on Ghost Zone. So everyone has Ghost Zone, everyone has super effective up next, everyone's stats are maxed, all the opponent's defenses are minimum, and basically everyone's 6-star EX. And as you might know, all these sync pairs are tech sync pairs. And once they use a sync move, they have a 1.5 times multiplier on their attacks. And so, this is what it looks like in terms of damage. Boom! Red means highest. And as you can see over here, SYGNA Suit Korrina is surprisingly stronger than Renegade Cynthia. Shock! Attack moves. As you might know, Spectral Thief is a 2-move gauge attack. Shadow Punch is a 2-move gauge attack. Renegade Cynthia's Shadow Force is a quick move. And her Shadow Ball is a 3-move gauge attack. 2-move gauge attack stronger than 3-move gauge? Wow! But then remember, you have to have Ghost Zone active, and you have to have the super effective up next, which you cannot get on your own. You have to have another sync pair to help you out with that. And Renegade Cynthia has to be on your team to get Ghost Zone. Or, not Renegade Cynthia, but actually you can also have Cosplay Lily to bring out Ghost Zone by chance. Meanwhile, sync nuke damage, it's not that difficult to trigger SYGNA Suit Korrina's sync move. You only need to use Spectral Thief once, just before the opponent raises its stats again. So in terms of nuking the opponent, what you have to do is give yourself a super effective up next. You can do that with red. You have to give yourself Ghost Zone. And then you just have to use Spectral Thief once. And that is the damage that you can potentially do. 24,652,447. In terms of Renegade Cynthia as the top damager for both attack moves and sync moves. Surprisingly, SYGNA Suit Korrina beats Renegade Cynthia in both types of attacks. Whoa! Whoa! And then, remember her speed, her defenses, everything are higher than Renegade Cynthia. Sure, you have a master passive to help you with lowering the opponent's damage for you, but then it does not apply to sync moves. And so, SYGNA Suit Korrina also has higher HP than Renegade Cynthia. So her survivability and her usability, especially Dire Hit All plus you get to raise your own evasiveness +3, much better than Renegade Cynthia. Nice! And in terms of ranking these sync pairs by damage, Ghost type attacks, as you can see over here, Renegade Cynthia ranks 2, Morty and Driftblim 3, Anniversary Lily 4, and Giovanni, the original Giovanni, 5 with Shadow Ball. In terms of nuking the opponent, SYGNA Korrina ranks 1, Renegade Cynthia ranks 2, Fall Morty ranks 3, Alistair 4th, and Fall Azarola 5th in terms of nuking the opponent. Wow! We have a new, strongest ghost type sync pair. A new one. Very, very easy to trigger nuke. So if you feel that the attack damage thing is impossible to achieve, at least the nuke. The nuke is very simple. You probably do not even need Ghost Zone. You can probably defeat the opponent very easily. Steal their stats, hit the opponent with a sync move. And remember, you can very easily bring back, there's a 50% chance of bringing back 1 MP for Spectral Thief if you have her 3 out of 5 and you get Shadow Punch, hit reload 4. Lots of things to like about SYGNA Korrina over here. I'm actually starting to like her a little bit more. Not really. I like debuffs more. So, Dojo GLORIA can debuff the opponent. SYGNA Korrina cannot debuff the opponent, but you can steal their buffs. SYGNA Korrina, if you're wondering, has a lot similar to Summer HILDA, but then Summer HILDA changes the opponent's buffs into debuffs. SYGNA Korrina changes the opponent's buffs to 0. That's the difference, guys. So you cannot debuff the opponent using SYGNA Korrina. You can just only steal their stats and give it to your own. But in terms of attacks and everything, 2 move gauge attacks, very quick sync pair. Highest attack out of these ghost types, highest defenses out of these ghost types. Lots and lots and lots to love about SYGNA Korrina. And that's why. Should you scout or skip? By the way, these are the numbers I have computed for your reference. As you might see over here, SYGNA Korrina is the hardest hitter out of these 4 new sync pairs with potential 5, 7, 9, 9, 8, 3, 8. It's a little bit too late, but those are max damage and nuke damage, not multipliers. And in terms of the nuke, SYGNA Korrina also has the highest nuke with 24,652,447. Just a little bit higher than Dojo GLORIA, who is not weak at all as well. But in terms of attack, nuke, that's the strongest one. And by the way, Jack helped me a little bit of correction with my max damage and my nuke damage for N. Those are the numbers instead of, I think I computed something wrong. So those are the damage. Thank you, Jack, for the correction. Thank you, STDK12, for the tools used. And thank you, Absol-utely, for the Datamine. And should you scout or should you skip? Well, first of all, fades over the meta because we get new sync pairs. Renegade Cynthia has been the highest ghost type damager for a couple of months before SYGNA Korrina overshadowed her. Kind of. Technically, it's very easy to set up her nuke compared to Renegade Cynthia. And then, yeah. Why do you want to scout for her? Well, she's a Pokefair. She has a very nice outfit. You want Korrina. You don't care about Lucario. You just want justice for Korrina, but not justice for poor Lucario. Marshadow is very cool. It's a mythical Pokemon. That means you only get Marshadows through events. What else? You have spare gems. You want a ghost type, strong ghost type. You want Dire Hit All Plus. That's also a very good thing. Hilda does not have cannot raise everyone's critical hit rate past +1. And what else? Lots of things to love about SYGNA Korrina. Why do you don't want to scout? Well, because the anniversary is near. She's the last of the bunch. And as you might know, there might be a sync pair coming out on the last week of July. And what else? There's not exactly not much to love about SYGNA Korrina. Probably because you have Renegade Cynthia and you don't care. You have Renegade Cynthia, you have Anniversary Lily. Those two are strong ghost type attackers. You do not need anyone else. You do not need an extra ghost type. Then don't scout. Don't scout. You have been shafted, you don't have any gems left, don't scout. What else? So many reasons for you to probably save up your gems, but also a lot of reasons why you want to scout for her again. Meta, probably. Meta, the buffer. Well, not the buffer. Meta. This is the sync pair that can steal the opponent's stats non-stop. This is not like Snatch, which you rely on MP refresh. This is not Haze, which you also rely on MP refresh. This has a 50% chance of bringing back an MP of Spectral Thief. You can debuff the... Well, you can steal the opponent's stats non-stop. That's what makes her an amazing, 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 amazing sync pair. In fact, not sure which now I want to rank first. It could be KORRINA, it could be DOJO GLORIA. But I believe that DOJO GLORIA is the meta debuffer for defense and speed. Probably still number 2 for KORRINA. Probably for some it's number 1. Then N. Then HILDA. Because HILDA, well, very situational sync pair. But that aside, if you are curious on how many gems you can get, and if you haven't watched this yet, I question you. This is my how many sync pair or how many gems can we get for the amount or for the month of July 2022. Actually, it's coming soon for those who are wondering. But as an NPC and not as a scoutable sync pair. And that is my Scouter Skiff video for SYGNA with KORRINA and Marshadow. If you reach this point of the video and have not yet given a thumbs up, please do so. It helps the channel, especially with the YouTube algorithm and stuff. And if you want to help me out, become a member of the channel. Well, you can be active in the chat and in the comment section, and you might be gifted one of these memberships from Kind Shadowfill and Tatsuya Gold, or any of my members who want to gift memberships. That's a new thing in my channel. Just like these people who have received a free channel membership. And free channel memberships, you know, give you access to a lot of perks like a Pokeball icon beside your name, as well as some fun emoticons in chat. And also, I would like to give a huge shout out to my non-gifted memberships who have been kindly supporting me for the longest time. Thank you, Shadowfill, Marokman, Aryan Singh, The Tackman, Alcin, Roy, Luca, Jeremy, Kose, Sasri Umbreon, Marcella, Lance Nice, Ewiz, and Tatsuya Gold. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to help out the channel as well financially, you can click on the join button down below. And welcome you to the members of my channel. You awesome, awesome people. Thank you so much for the help. And with that said, I'm done. Thank you so much. People have been asking me to do a couple more videos. I'll do them as soon as I'm able to. You know, there's free Poke Fair, there's Ash, there's so many other things to do. I'm running out of time. Cry! This is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, the artist Team Skull Grunt. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.